The shocking way a narcissist treats you after sex. The real self exposed. The truth behind the narcissist mask. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to imagine something right now. Think of a time when you felt completely drawn to someone, like a magnet. They made you feel seen, desired, even worshipped. And then, almost like flipping a switch, they became cold, distant, indifferent. You went from feeling like the most important person in their world to questioning if you even existed. That is the shocking reality of being with a narcissist, see? At first, they mirror your dreams, your desires, your deepest emotions. They study you, learning exactly what you want to hear. And when they finally have you, when you've let your guard down, boom, the mask slips. Now, you're no longer a prize to be won, a resource to be drained. You go from being the center of their universe to an afterthought. It's confusing, it's painful. But here's what you must understand. It's not you, it's them. Narcissists don't do intimacy, they do control. They don't do love, they do power. And when they get what they want, they no longer need to perform. But here's where the real shift happens. You get to decide whether to stay in this cycle or break free. Because the truth is, the way a person treats you after intimacy is who they really are. Not the charm, not the sweet words, but the way they behave when they don't need to impress you anymore. And the biggest mistake you can make, thinking you can fix them. Thinking if you give more, they'll change. Let me tell you something. A narcissist doesn't need your love. They need your compliance. They need you to keep questioning yourself so they can keep winning the game they're playing. But today, that game ends because the moment you wake up and realize you deserve better, that's the moment their power over you disappears. It's not about them anymore, it's about you. It's about choosing respect, choosing boundaries, choosing yourself over their manipulation. So if you've been caught in this cycle, if you've been feeling like your worth depends on someone who only gives you crumbs, this is your wake-up call. Step into your power. See the game for what it is and walk away knowing that you deserve real, deep, unwavering love. Not a performance, not a manipulation, but the real thing. Because once you know your value, no narcissist can ever take it away from you again. Narcissists mirror your desires. They don't love, they manipulate. Let me ask you something. Have you ever met someone who just gets you? Someone who finishes your sentences, shares your dreams, and makes you feel like you finally found the one person who truly understands you? It feels magical, doesn't it? Almost like destiny. But what if I told you that this perfect connection was never real? See, narcissists don't just stumble into your life and happen to align with everything you want. They study you, they observe you like a scientist examining a subject. They watch your reactions, listen to your words, and absorb your desires like a sponge. Why? Because the best way to manipulate someone is to become exactly what they're looking for. This is what makes their love feel so intense, so undeniable. It's not just attraction, it's a carefully crafted illusion. They're not showing you who they are, they're showing you who you want them to be. It's the ultimate con, the perfect seduction. And you believe it. Because why wouldn't you? We all crave to be deeply understood. And here's the kicker. This isn't love, this is control. Love is built on authenticity. Love is messy, unpredictable, and real. But a narcissist version of love is rehearsed, it's scripted, it's fake. And the moment you realize this, the moment you see through their act, their entire game begins to crumble. But let's take it even further. If someone is mirroring everything you say, everything you do, everything you feel, then where are they? Where is their true self? The answer is, they don't have one. Not in the way you do. Their identity is fluid, always changing, always shifting to fit the narrative that benefits them most. And you know what's really scary? The second you stop feeding into their illusion, they no longer have use for you. You were never meant to be their equal. You were never meant to be loved. You were meant to be controlled, to be shaped into a reflection of their power. That's what they thrive on. That's what they need. So how do you break free? You stop looking at them as your soulmate and start seeing them as a con artist. You stop waiting for the person they pretended to be and start recognizing the manipulator behind the mask. And most importantly, you stop doubting yourself. Because it was never about you being unworthy. It was about them needing to play a role. The real question is, Are you ready to wake up? Are you ready to take back your identity and stop giving it away to someone who only pretended to love you? Because once you do, you will never fall for the illusion again. The switch happens after intimacy. Once they get what they want, they drop the act. You ever notice how some people seem to change overnight? One day they're obsessed with you, they can't get enough of you, they're blowing up your phone, telling you how incredible you are, and then, like a flick of a switch, cold, distant, like you don't even exist. It's confusing, right? You start questioning everything. Did I do something wrong? Did I say something that pushed them away? No, stop that. This isn't about what you did. This is about them showing you their real self. See, narcissists don't want intimacy. They want control. And sex, affection, emotional connection, that's just another tool they use to hook you. In the beginning, they make it feel electric. They build it up like it's the most special thing in the world. But the second they have you, the second they feel like they've won, they disengage because the chase is over. The game is done. And what happens to a narcissist when they're no longer chasing? They get bored, they move on. Or worse, they start testing how much you'll tolerate, how much they can get away with, how much of yourself you'll give up just to get that feeling back. And this is where most people make the mistake. They think if they just try harder, if they just love more, the narcissist will return to who they were in the beginning. But let me tell you something. They were never that person. That version of them, that was an illusion. What you're seeing now, the coldness, the indifference, that's the truth. That's who they were all along. And the only reason they ever treated you differently before is because they needed to lure you in. Now that they have you, they don't need to pretend anymore. So what do? You don't chase, you don't beg. You don't shrink yourself just to fit their impossible expectations. You see it for what it is, a game. And once you recognize the rules, you can decide to stop playing. Because here's the secret, the moment you stop needing their validation, their power over you disappears. And that is the real win. Their coldness is not your fault, it's their true nature being revealed. Listen up, this is where most people get stuck. You were showered with attention, affection, and passion. Then suddenly, you're left with silence, indifference, even cruelty. And what's the first thing your mind does? It starts blaming you. What did I do wrong? Did I push them away? Maybe I'm not good enough. Stop right there. That's the trap. It's exactly how they want you to think. Narcissists don't pull away because of something you did. They pull away because the performance is over. When they were love bombing you, that was an act, a show, a role they played to hook you. And now you're seeing the real them. The problem isn't that you weren't enough. The problem is that they were never capable of real love in the first place. See, a narcissist world revolves around one thing, power. And the easiest way to maintain power, keep you questioning yourself. Keep you doubting your worth, keep you chasing their approval like a drug you can't quit. Because as long as you're seeking their validation, they control the game. But here's the truth. Real love doesn't leave you guessing. Real love doesn't make you feel like you have to earn it. And real love sure as hell doesn't disappear the moment someone gets what they want. So hear me when I say this. Their coldness is not a reflection of your value. It's a reflection of who they truly are. And if you keep trying to prove yourself to someone who is never capable of love, all you'll do is drain yourself dry. What's the solution? You shift your focus. You stop asking, how do I get them to love me again? And start asking, why am I tolerating this in the first place? Because the moment you realize you deserve better, the spell is broken. And once the spell is broken, their power over you disappears. They seek control, not connection. Love to them is just a tool to dominate. But let's get one thing straight. Narcissists don't do relationships, they do power dynamics. And if you think they're in it for love, connection, or partnership, you're playing the wrong game. A narcissist world is built on control. They don't want an equal, they want a subject. They want someone who bends to their will, who feeds their ego, who stays small so they can feel big. And the moment you step outside of that role, they punish you. You, newbie, it's through silent treatment. Maybe it's through gaslighting, making you question your own reality. Maybe it's through emotional withdrawal, withholding love like it's some kind of twisted reward system. And here's the most dangerous part. They make you believe that you are the one who needs to change, that if you just act differently, love them more, sacrifice more, then maybe, just maybe, they'll treat you better. Let me tell you something right now. Love is not a transaction. Love is not about control. Love is about freedom. If someone is keeping you in a state of fear, anxiety, or emotional starvation, that is not love. That is manipulation. That is psychological warfare. And it only ends when you decide to stop playing their game, when you stop bending yourself into a version of you that pleases them, when you take back your power and realize that you don't need to earn basic human decency, because at the end of the day, a narcissist doesn't want love. They want control. And the moment you refuse to be controlled, you win. You cannot fix them. The more you give, the more they take. How many times have you told yourself, if I just love them harder, they'll change? How many nights have you spent thinking, maybe if I do more, they'll see how much I care? Let me save you years of heartbreak. You cannot fix them. You cannot love someone into healing if they do not want to heal. You cannot pour yourself into someone who only sees you as a resource to be used. And the more you give, the more they take, because that's the only language they understand. Taking, draining, consuming. See, a narcissist knows how much you care. They know how deeply you love, and they exploit it. Because the more you sacrifice, the more they win. The more you suffer, the more power they have. And here's where most people get caught in the trap. They think that if they just give enough, they'll finally reach that moment where the narcissist wakes up and says, wow, I see how much you love me. I'll change. Let me make this crystal clear. That moment will never come, not because you're not worthy of it, not because you're not enough, but because they do not see relationships the way you do. To them, love is not about giving, it's about taking, it's about power. And if you keep waiting for them to suddenly develop empathy, you'll be waiting forever. So what's the move? You stop giving your energy to someone who only drained you. You stop playing the role of healer, fixer, savior. And you realize that your worth is not measured by how much pain you can endure for someone else's comfort. Because once you stop trying to fix them, you free yourself. And when you free yourself, you open the door to a life that isn't built on suffering. It's built on love, respect, and peace. Your worth isn't tied to their validation. You are enough with or without them. Let me ask you something. Who were you before they came into your life? Before the confusion, before the self-doubt, before the emotional roller coaster? You were whole, you were enough. You were someone who had dreams, passions, a life that was yours. But then they came along, and little by little, they made you believe that your worth was tied to their attention. That if they pulled away, it meant you were lacking. That if they didn't choose you, it meant you weren't good enough. That's the biggest lie a narcissist will ever make you believe, because the truth is your value has nothing to do with them. You were valuable before they arrived, and you'll be valuable after they're gone. Their rejection does not define you. Their indifference does not lessen you. Their cruelty is not a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of their emptiness. See, a narcissist wants you to believe that they are the prize, that you should feel lucky to have their attention, that without them you are incomplete. But let me tell you something, you are not incomplete. They are. Because someone who truly knows their worth doesn't need to tear others down. Someone who is full of love doesn't need to manipulate, control, or punish the people around them. A narcissist is not whole, so they feed off of others to feel powerful. And if you let them, they will keep draining you until there's nothing left. Because here's the truth. You don't need their validation to be worthy. You don't need their approval to be enough. You are already enough. The only thing missing is you realizing it. So today, I want you to shift your focus. Stop asking, why won't they love me? And start asking, why am I seeking love from someone who doesn't know how to give it? Because the moment you stop looking for their validation, you reclaim your power. And when you reclaim your power, they lose all control over you. The moment you choose yourself, you win. Walking away is your power move. Let's talk about the most powerful move you will ever make. The moment you decide to walk away. See, narcissists think they hold all the cards. They think they can control you with their games, their silent treatments, their hot and cold behavior. They expect you to keep chasing, to keep trying, to keep proving yourself. But what happens when you stop playing? What happens when you wake up one day and say, I'm done? Let me tell you what happens. They lose. Because a narcissist's worst nightmare isn't losing you. It's losing control over you. It's realizing that their tricks don't work anymore, that you've seen through the illusion, that you've taken your power back. And when you finally choose yourself, something incredible happens. You start to heal. You start to remember who you were before they made you doubt yourself. You start to feel lighter, stronger, free. Does it hurt? Of course. Walking away from someone you loved, even if they were toxic, was painful. But do you know what hurts more? Staying in a situation where you're never truly seen, never truly valued, never truly at peace. So today, I want you to make a decision that will change your life forever. Do you keep waiting, hoping they'll change? Or do you step into your power and choose yourself instead? Because the moment you choose yourself, you win. The moment you realize your worth, their control over you shatters. The moment you walk away, you set yourself free. And that, my friend, is how you reclaim your life. Now go take what's yours. Your power lies in choosing yourself. Let me leave you with this. This isn't just about them. This isn't just about the narcissist, the games they play, or the pain they caused. This is about you. This is about stepping into the strongest, most unshakable version of yourself. The version of you that refuses to settle for manipulation. The version of you that refuses to beg for love. The version of you that stands tall and says, I am enough. Because here's the truth. Narcissists will never change. They will always seek control, always use love as a weapon, always take more than they give. But you can change. You can wake up today and decide that this cycle ends with you. That no one, not them, not anyone, gets to dictate your worth. Yes, walking away is hard. Yes, healing takes time. But let me tell you something. On the other side of this pain is freedom. On the other side of this heartbreak is strength. On the other side of choosing yourself is a life where you no longer shrink, no longer chase, no longer question if you're good enough, because you are. You always have been. And the moment you start living like it, the moment you own your worth, nothing and no one will ever take that power from you again. Now, go claim the life you deserve.